In this video, I am going to show you how to use sensor formulas or conversion formulas to present data in a very meaningful way. To start, I am going to create a new sensor. For example, we already have one sensor on this vehicle, which is an ignition sensor. I'm going to add another sensor to monitor the vehicle's voltage or the external car battery's voltage. To do that, I would right click on the object, go to sensors, click on add, and this time I want the external power supply as a function. So I choose external power supply. In this case, I would like to name this car battery. Then the description, I would just like to duplicate the function's name. Next, on the type, it is dedicated by default, which means that this sensor type, we are going to read the sensor changes. So when it's dedicated, we are reading the sensor changes. Next, we are going to choose the field, which is the data parameter that is sending the value of the battery. In this case, it's the V source. After selecting the V source, I'm going to choose a unit name for this sensor, which is going to be voltage because I'm monitoring the battery voltage. Next, we'll talk about tags in another video. Now we saw that the Vsauce was around 27,821. Therefore, I can choose the minimum to be 1 and then the maximum to be, for example, 30,000. Now I check the save history box so I can be able to save the data that is coming to the system. Next, we'll go to filter null values, which means that when there is any data which is not in these values, the sensor will not show. And here we are going to show it in tooltips, which means that when we hover this vehicle or this object is going to show us the external power value. Now I am going to save. Now it has been saved and I have my sensor. Now let's go back and see. So as this vehicle is moving, I'm just going to hover or just click here. Now what can we do to present this data in a meaningful way for the fleet manager to see? I would right click on this object, go to sensors, double click on the external power supply sensor that I just created. Then in this conversion formula section, I am going to divide the data we are receiving by 1000. After dividing it by 1000, I can decide to save, which means that I can test. Which means that if Vsauce is 28,000, for example, is going to be 28 volts, which means that it has been divided by 1000. Very, very simple. Next, after testing, I am going to save. The car battery sensor I created has been updated. Now what do I do next? I can close this, then I hover. So as I can see, I can click and see that my car battery sensor has changed from 27,000 to 27.83 volts, which means that this is easier for the fleet manager to understand.